credit for that. Lomachenko, for example, 3 years, still no fucking rematch, but whatever. This kid, he had a split decision victory that people said was controversial. Well, let's bring him back in an immediate rematch. Floyd did the same thing with Castillo, and I believe that's why people didn't look at the Castillo-Floyd-Mayweather fight as bad. You just look at it as an off night because you do an immediate rematch 6 months later. Hey, it's better than avoiding.
By the way,
it's better than avoiding.
The WBA confirmed it's fake news. WBA, it's PBC, dude. It's always fake news until it's signed. WBA confirms Povetkin is now the mandatory challenger to Joshua. I think Joshua will fight anybody. They just have to agree to get their asses kicked. And how much do they want to get their asses kicked for?
And why I put this story in there, Lee, what the hell? Ortiz, Povetkin, both busted on drug charges, both lose their title shots, and now both of them are immediate contenders for the title again?
Okay,
this is really
side
weird.
note. Okay, let's do a side note in the show. Side note in the show.
Good.
For longtime listeners of the show, you're aware that the WBA, WBC, the WBO, and IBF are all very corrupt organizations. You can basically buy your way to a championship. For those of you who wonder what I mean, please feel free to watch the Sergio Martinez documentary on Netflix. It'll make you really hate boxing. We now return to the WBA putting Povetkin back in as the mandatory challenger. Please continue, Andrew.
Steroids, the way to success. Go ahead, Lee, next story.
Andre Ward, I miss fighting. No shit.
Yeah!
So, all right, here's the thing with Andre Ward. He watched Crusher Kovalev, and here's exactly what he's thinking. I'm going to let this guy fight and get all the titles, and then I'm going to kick his ass again.
That's right. That's right.
and make another $20 million.
Kovalev will have the chip on his shoulder that falls into the
he'll be on a 12 knockout streak. Yeah. Everybody will suck his dick and tell him he's the man.
Oh my God.
You hate it when I do that, don't you? Would you prefer me saying the word blow?
Whatever.
Okay. Everybody at HBO will blow Sergey Kovalev.
There you go. Yes, exactly.
It's better that way, right? All right, okay, yes. Thanks. Don't send your hate mail to... Okay, so everybody at HBO will blow Kovalev, including Max Kellerman, who will be the first to put on the knee pads. Is that too much?
He might have something on his lip, though. I don't know if you really want that from Max. There's every once in a while.
No, Max can rim. Max can go to the back door and do a little ass licking.
Lee, all right, I'm going on to the next one.
Show's gone on for a very long time today, Andrew. What do you expect? And I've had 2 coffees, and now I'm having a mocha as well, so I'm just shot out of a cannon. Yeah, there's no doubt he's coming back to beat Kovalev again. He's smart. I'm going to just sit here ringside, watch you get all the titles back, knock out everybody, and then I'm going to beat your ass again like a drum.
Have all the white boys going, Cove. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going crazy.
You do. You want to say it. Come on, you do. All the white guys with their fists pumped up in the air going, Whap Brad! Whap Brad!
Oh, my God.
Felix Verdejo makes it back to the ring. For those of you who don't remember, Felix Verdejo is the moron from Puerto Rico who took a crash on a motorcycle because he doesn't give a shit about his career. And I'm going to say this to everybody who rides a motorcycle. You're a dipshit, too. Everybody who rides a motorcycle, hold on. Sidebar. Hold on. Sidebar.
Go ahead.
Sidebar. Everybody who rides a motorcycle, if you're not aware of this simple fact, it's not if you get into an accident, it's when you're going to get into your accident. I now return you to Felix Verdejo, who hit his when moment on his motorcycle. Felix Verdejo returns to the ring on March 17. Manager vows a better year. How can it... Look, if he fights at all, it's a better year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it actually
most of the year was off because of the injuries.
Of course, Lee. There are significant injuries, and I want to say, I'm going to have to get 2 photos because of him before and after, but I think it also changed the way the kid looks.
Yeah, I think he's steel plates. And I'm not even sure how he can fight, but who am I?
Either way, he was one of the best talents. Before all the marketing side people, Felix Verdejo was one of the best talents in the sport before this accident on a motorcycle. And yes, what Lee is saying to all the young fighters is true. You should not be on motorcycles if you value
or if you're in the NFL,
career.
NBA, and there's a reason why the clauses in the contract, for God's sakes. You think there are actually young fighters who listen to this show? If you're a young fighter listening to this show, why haven't you called us to manage you? You do much better than the PBC.
Yes, sir.
Spence-Peterson card.
Wait a minute. 23-0-15. Mikey Garcia, Terrence Crawford, and Felix Verdejo should be running boxing right now, people. Understand that. These three should be unifying titles and defending until all three of them make the greatest pay-per-view triangle in the history. But they won't do it. I just pray that it happens.
Because they're already paid.
Crawford, Garcia, Verdejo.
Because they're already paid.
Trilogy. Could you imagine
if I'm already paid, Andrew? Okay, let's say that there was a market out there for me going to the Pan Ams, right? And I got paid before the Pan Ams, right? Do you think I'm actually even making weight? Here's the check, Lee. We got 1 million people to watch you. We're paying you $10 million. They're going to watch. They're going to just eat this shit up. They just love you on social media. We're going to run ads forever. The minute you hand me that $10 million check and it clears, I will stop training. Just like that. I don't care to be that. Like, if I get $10 million, I don't care about being the best. I won. By the way, there's a wonderful boxing show on Netflix where you can see a PBC fighter do exactly this. It's a good layout of exactly how this works. These guys get paid. They don't want to train. Why would you? Being unemployed with $10 million is a party. All the time. Ask Oscar De La Hoya. He's one of our next stories. He's so bored that he wants to return to boxing. I don't believe Oscar can train. I can't see him disciplined enough to get back in to actually train.
Yeah, no, he doesn't respect Floyd. He never did. If you watch the first fight, Oscar doesn't respect him. He's eating Floyd's right hands, walking right through him, pins Floyd on the ropes numerous times. He's bigger than Floyd. He probably still has this dream in his head that he can go 12 rounds with him again and make another $100 million.
But he'd have to train, which means no drinking, no girls.
You got to remember, the dude's been partying a lot lately. This is what happens when you have too many in your system, man.
Okay, side note. There's a lot of side notes in today's episode. Side note to all listeners of Fight Net Radio who thinks we have too many inside jokes. How did Lee Honish, Danny Bonaducci come to be? There were a lot of people drinking in a bar one night. I was not one of them, and it sounded like a really good idea. You now return to Oscar De La Hoya being way too high and way too drunk. Allegedly. Easter-Fortuna added to Spence-Peterson undercard.
Hey, Floyd did call him a cokehead in return. Go ahead,
Good
Lee.
for him.
Yeah.
Call his shit out. Floyd doesn't care. Easter,
he was like,
Easter versus Fortuna added to the Peterson Spence card. So is it going to be televised? Are they putting the Easter-Fortuna on the televised portion?
Yes, and this is a very good fight. Fontoura ex-champ, 33 wins, 1 loss, I believe, is his record. Robert Spence is undefeated, 20-0-14. He's the current IBF champ right now. He was supposed to fight Mikey Garcia, but see, Lee, when you look at Robert Easter's stats, he stands at 5'11", not 5'6". He's got a reach of 76, not 67. You see what I'm saying? Mikey was like, which one do I pick? Which one do I pick? I'll go for the little guy.
Of course. That's a PBC classic move.
Come on. Hey, and I didn't even like the Robert Easter fight, but damn it the hell, when you show me lip shit, I want Robert Easter back. I want Robert Easter back.
For the record, in situations like that, much like last night, I was cheering for David Lemieux. Because if David Lemieux had miraculously won that fight, I wanted to hear what kind of spin HBO was going to put on that fight.
Yeah. If he would have landed the power, it would have been the power.
I mean, they actually occasionally peppered in the kick. You got to respect his power.
You would have seen Max Kellerman's mouth get a train pulled on it immediately. He would have had it just turn around and go after Lemieux.
We just saw a star making in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that line. That's an HBO copyrighted line. We're watching a star in the making. David Lemieux has done the incredible. No. Landing a lucky punch is not the incredible. It's landing a lucky punch. Last story of the day, and the reason I bring it, HBO's Boxing After Dark triple header. Right? The week after Miguel Cotto did $1 million. How is HBO's numbers? And this is the problem. Their triple header of basically nobody gives a shit card.
Yeah. Rigondeaux.
I watched it. By the way, I watched it, so it's not fair. So that's the Roman Salido.
Yes. Rigondeaux-Lomachenko's night.
600,000 views. I mean, that's a lot of viewers for a shit card.
Not. Oh my god, that is nothing for HBO. That's
what did
Spike
ESPN
TV,
do
bro.
that night?
2.3 million.
Yeah, there it is. Wait, 1.73. They did 2 million. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was the second largest under Manny Pacquiao's 3 million.
It was a great fight. It lived up to the hype.
No, they just had the thing the diehards wanted to see. Rigondeaux versus Lomachenko is a dream for a lot of fight fans. It's unfortunate that Rigondeaux didn't show up on the night, but call that Bob Arum's great matchmaking. You guys, this man knows when fighters are looking for that retirement check, and they always overpay to get them to fight one of their young guns, and then they let them go. They say, you had a great career. Thank you for your services.
There you go. That's our show. That's a lot of show. That is a lot of show. That's our last real show of the year, people. From here on out, it's just filler shit. We got Christmas next week. We'll do some kind of filler show. And then we will do our now infamous best of, where we try to decide what we thought the best of this year was. And I can already tell you what Andrew's pick's going to be. It's going to be Canelo.
No. Top Rank's winning a lot of awards this year.
It's going to be hard pressed.
Joshua,
Eddie Hearn. It's going to be close. It's really going to be close between Eddie and Bob.
Internationally, you can give it to Eddie Hearn, but I think domestically,
dude, his numbers
domestically, what Bob Arum has done to his stable. This is not just one guy. Okay, Anthony Joshua is one fighter he has. If you look at Eddie
but he puts on amazing fight cards across the board. He has a lot of fighters.
But they're not the ones selling as much as Joshua. What Top Rank has done here, at least 7 of the top highest shows, and Eddie Hearn's involved in that. He's had shows on Showtime. He's had shows on HBO. The 7 top-rated shows right now are coming from one company, people. You're a fool if you don't think Top Rank is number 1 in the sport still. At least domestically. Now, internationally, yes, they have a star. See, Terrence Crawford is not an international star yet. Manny Pacquiao is no longer an international star. So I will agree that Eddie Hearn owns the international part of boxing right now. His guy can go anywhere and sell.
He definitely picked up the K2 slack.
That's right.
And we'll definitely talk about that we'll put that show together for you over the next couple of weeks. It was a good show today. Go to LasVegasDiscount.net. We learned about anal rimming. I didn't bring up fisting. There were a lot of blowjob references. And whether or not it's better to suck balls
Max
than
Kellerman
fight
had a
Billy.
train pulled on
God,
him.
I hate Max Kellerman. I had to sit through 12 rounds. I know why I don't watch HBO boxing. It's simply Max Kellerman. Like, he forces whoever he's with in the booth to agree with him. Isn't that right, champ? Isn't that right, champ? Isn't that... I want to hear somebody go, no.
A lot of times, if you're listening, if he doesn't say that, no one responds to a lot of the things that Kellerman says.
He's never done anything.
Or they're like, what?
His thin, pasty white ass has never done anything.
Lee, last night, that man said, the guys with the best chins in boxing never get hit on the chin. What the fuck? What does that mean, Lee? And that's an absolute lie.
It is a lie.
And
I was having this discussion with somebody else because there's a big group of really famous Brazilian jiu-jitsu people going into MMA coming up this